Hey everyone, Mr. MSA here. This is lap guide for Suzuka Circuit with a WRX Group 4. I've made previous lap guides with other cars, so if you want to see those, I'll have it on the card up above or in the description, pinned comment down below. But anyways, let's get this started. While not the fastest in top speed, this car will definitely save you time in the turns. So for this first turn, start to brake when your car is in line with the path that is on the left or with the 50-meter mark. Choose your reference point. Brake hard for a moment. Then when you hit the apex, use a tiny bit of throttle, then immediately go back to braking. Use all your braking power right here, and then go to minimal braking power, then slowly start to go to the throttle. When you're at this apex right here, that is where you start to fully accelerate. This section is all about throttle control. However, if you're going a little bit too fast, you can use a tiny bit of braking to help adjust your car. But for this next turn right here, this is where you want to use a little bit more braking, then use minimal throttle, and then you can start to fully accelerate. But for this turn right here, I don't know if you just saw that, you want to go a little bit under half throttle for a moment, because if you just decide to go through this turn at full throttle, you'll end up going off track. The apex, you want to hit like the middle of it or go for a late apex, because if you hit an early apex, then you're definitely going to go off track. Start to brake right before you hit the 50-meter mark. Brake at full power for a moment, then go at half braking power, and right after you hit the apex, you can go at full throttle. Repeat what you just did for this turn, except you'll be braking for a bit longer. The best thing about this car is that it handles this hairpin like a champ. So for this turn, you want to start to brake right after you pass the end of the curb that was on the right. Brake in a straight line and start to lift off the brake when you start to turn. When you hit the apex, which is in the middle of the track, start to slowly accelerate, and when your car is starting to point towards the more crowded grandstand, you can then start to fully accelerate. Start to brake when your car is in line with the path that is on the right. Go out full braking power here. Then when you turn, go at half braking power and continue to do that until you hit the apex. Right after you hit the apex, slowly start to accelerate. You don't want to go too fast here because then you'll go off track. So go out full throttle for a moment, and then before the curb on the right ends, do some more trail braking. Try to hang out with the inside track limit. Don't go on the grass. And when the curb on the left ends, you can then start to fully accelerate. Now this turn is a little interesting with this car. Your turning point is the 50-meter board that is on the right, but right after you pass that, you want to lift off the throttle for a brief moment of time. Don't lift off the throttle almost all the way, but you'll be using about 25% of your throttle. Then after you hit the apex, you can continue to accelerate. You want to be a little careful because you don't want to touch the AstroTurf, as that'll send you into Pluto. But then for this last turn, you want to start to brake before you hit the 100-meter mark. Brake in a straight line again, and take advantage of the curbs. Don't go on the AstroTurf with all four wheels, otherwise you get a penalty. And stabilize the car, and you are good to go.